Welcome, everyone. Today we're talking about why no one cybersecurity tool is enough. Many people think that you can just buy one tool and be secure, but in cybersecurity, it doesn't really work that way. And in this video, I'll show you why this security has to be layered, there's a holistic approach, and how different tools fit into the bigger picture. So let's just get right into it. Cybersecurity is a holistic approach. That means it's both proactive and reactive. On one hand, you have to prevent problems like patching, hardening those systems, and monitoring for weaknesses constantly. On the other hand, you need to respond to incidents, detect intrusions, and recover after an attack that might have happened. No single tool can do both sides perfectly, and that's why enterprises combine them. And not only that, that's why enterprises also silo teams. There's a team for incident response. There's a team for cyber threat intelligence. There's a team for digital forensics for after an attack happens. So understanding where your current state of your enterprise is and where the target state they want to be is very important in consulting, where you want them to focus more on that proactive approach versus reactive. Because what happens, you have to pay that ransomware someday. That's not the most ideal approach. And spending more money upfront versus later on is a much better approach for long-term strategic orientation. Enterprises don't live in just one environment. They're hybrid. They use cloud services, on-prem services, laptops, mobile devices, and sometimes even Internet of Things devices. That could be a smart thermostat, your alarm system, your smart Apple Watch. All of these are exchanging data to regulate things like that. And that's what IoT devices are. And I want to give you guys an example of the different attack surfaces. Customer apps may be hosted in the cloud, while core transaction databases may stay on a premises for a bank. Employees could be logging in remotely from home on their laptop if they're sick, holiday work from home, things like that. Each of these environments have different risks, which means no one tool can protect them all, and that's why enterprises rely on a toolkit. First up, SIEM tools, security information and event management. These tools could be like Splunk, IBM QRadar, Azure Sentinel. Think of SIEM as the brain of your security operations. It takes in logs from everywhere, endpoints, servers, firewalls, cloud apps, and puts them all into one place. What makes it powerful is that you can build dashboards and get queries to understand maybe certain aspects of maybe unusual failure login and get alerts that make the data digestible. Instead of scrolling through raw logs, analysts can see the spikes and failed logins, like I said, unusual traffic, or even a timeline of suspicious events that's occurring. But remember, SIEM is about visibility and context. It's not about blocking attackers directly. EDR versus XDR. Now let's talk about endpoints. EDR stands for Endpoint Detection Response. These tools focus on laptops, desktops, and servers. They detect malware, the unusual processes that are occurring, and it can isolate that compromised machine. Versus XDR goes that further extra mile. It's extended detection and response. Instead of just endpoints, it pulls in data from across the environment, network, email, identity, and even the cloud. A quick analogy that I would like to maybe give to you guys is EDR is like having a guard at the door versus XDR is the command center, watching all doors, windows, hallways all together. Next are IDS and IPS. IDS is intrusion detection system. It watches traffic and alerts you when something looks malicious, like an alarm system. IPS is intrusion prevention system. It does the same thing, but it also blocks the traffic in real time, like an alarm system that automatically locks the door when you leave the house, for example. Vulnerability management is all about finding weaknesses before the attackers do. Tools like Qualys, Rapid7 can scan systems for unpatched software or misconfigurations. A simple everyday example would be like a Windows update that you get on your laptop every now and then. Every time you patch your system, you're fixing vulnerabilities before they're becoming exploited, unless they're like a 0-day threat where like I guess the developers don't know what's going on and maybe attackers can poach on that. These tools are proactive. They don't stop live attacks, but they close the door that attackers might try to open. File integrity monitoring. Tools like Wazoo and OSEC focus on this. They detect unauthorized changes to files, configurations, or registries. And why does it matter? Because attackers often tamper with logs, system files, or even critical configs to maintain access. This also supports compliances, things like PCI DSS, is basically online credit card transactions, making sure that they aren't being spread or tampered or leaked. HIPAA is more for medical records, keeping that confidential. And NIST frameworks, National Institute of Standard Technology, requires file integrity monitoring as part of their controls. Identity access and zero trust. Kind of mentioned this in my last video, but I'd like to touch up on it again. Identity has become the new perimeter. Tools like Okta, Azure's AD, Google BeyondCorp enforce multi-factor authentication, role-based access, and even least privilege, making sure that whoever's getting access has the least amount of privilege to do their daily tasks, not getting over privileged for things that they can use to sneak around to other departments and things like that. This is the foundation of zero trust. Never trust, always verify, like I said in my last video. Even if a user is already inside the network, you still need to validate their identity and limit their access. Now let's talk about MITRE attack framework. Yes, it is a framework. ATT&CK stands for adversarial tactics, techniques, and common knowledge. Tactics are the attacker's goals, like persistence or data exfiltration, or they need to escalate privileges. Techniques are, how are they achieving these goals? For example, are they using PowerShell to run that malicious code? And sub-techniques kind of drill down into specific variations, just like how NIST frameworks has different implementations for how you protect, monitor, detect. Security teams use attack like a map. When they see suspicious behavior, they can map it to known attack techniques and figure out what stage of the attack they're dealing with. Think of it like a playbook of hackers' moves that defenders can recognize and respond to. Shout out to the football season coming up. In the graph below, you can see pre-attack versus attack enterprise. There's all different levels of whether they're doing execution, persistence tactics, and these are all in the playbook for MITRE attack framework. Now let's put it all together with a real world example. An attacker sends a phishing email to an employee and the EDR detects a suspicious process running on the laptop. And the SIEM correlates that event, unusual login attempts. And while the IDS notices that abnormal outbound traffic leaving the network, and vulnerability scans show that the system was missing like a critical patch, that it wasn't patched previously. And analysts map all this to the MITRE attack and confirm that the attack is lateral movement stage. Notice how no single tool can solve the attack, and it took multiple layers all working together. To wrap it up, cybersecurity is not a one-size-fits-all. It's a layered defense. Some tools are proactive, others are reactive, and each one plays a different role. The power isn't in any single tool, it's how they're integrated. And that's how enterprises build resilience. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments if you'd like me to cover deeper into any specific tool or category that I talked about today. I'm still learning myself. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.